Hello everyone! In this video, we'll share several stories about incredible World War II discoveries found across the globe. Let's get started. ES-2 tank and soldiers. In 2020, in Latvia, the remains of 6 Red Army soldiers and the wreckage of an ES-2 tank were discovered. The search team, Legenda, led by Telis Smiths, found an unmarked Red Army burial site, 13 kilometers from the town of Saldus. The soldiers' remains were intermixed with parts of a Soviet heavy tank. The abbreviation ES stands for Iosif Stalin. The ES-2 was the most powerful and heavily armored serially produced tank of World War II anywhere in the world. It is believed that after the battle, the soldiers' bodies were thrown into a crater formed by the explosion of the tank's ammunition. One of the soldiers was found with a 4-carriage medal, which helped identify him by the medal serial number. All 6 Red Army soldiers were reburied with full honors at a military cemetery, and the tank parts were sent to a museum. The collector. Police in the city of Astrakhan confiscated more than 100 items, including weapons, medals, and other historical artifacts, from the home of a 46-year-old man. He had been illegally storing firearms, various calibers of ammunition, old sabers, rapiers, a naval dirk, bayonets, and military gear. In addition, 168 medals and orders were found in his home, including Shipka 1877, for the defense of Stalingrad, for the liberation of Prague, for the defense of the Caucasus, for the capture of Berlin, for the defense of Sevastopol, for the liberation of Warsaw, for the defense of Moscow, for the capture of Budapest, for the victory over Germany in the Great Patriotic War of 1941 to 1945, and many others. While inspecting the premises, police also found religious icons and their frames, books, pocket watches, rings, and women's jewelry, tableware, coins, banknotes, bones, and various documents. All items have been sent for expert evaluation to determine the age and value. The suspect claimed to be a collector, but was unable to provide proof of legal ownership. Machine gunners. In Russia's Smolensk region, the site of fierce battles between the Red Army and Nazi Germany during World War II, a search team discovered the remains of 2 Red Army soldiers. Based on the artifacts found, it was likely a 2-man machine gun crew. In the trench, the team uncovered ammo boxes for a Maxim machine gun and a toolkit with spare parts. Because one of the boxes was tightly sealed, the condition of the contents was excellent. The slight surface rust can be easily cleaned. The search team announced that after restoration, the find would be transferred to a local museum. The soldiers were buried with full military honors following the end of the search mission. Weapons cache. A stash of antique weapons and ammunition was found during the dismantling of an illegally placed garage in Kirovsky district of Astrakhan. A worker from the municipal agency Clean City discovered an ancient revolver and a Belgian Gallant Velodoc pocket revolver with a concealed hammer. Alongside the weapons were bullets, a sack, and a 1918 newspaper used to wrap the items. Police experts are currently determining whether the revolvers are operational. A criminal case has been opened for the illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. The weapons will most likely be sent to a local museum after the examination. Illinois 4. In Russia, in the Novgorod region, where fierce battles took place during World War II, search teams discovered the crash site of a Soviet Illinois 4 bomber. The site lies just 2 kilometers from a settlement, but reaching it is quite difficult due to the swampy terrain. For a long time, the crater itself was mistaken for an ordinary puddle until local historians took notice. They conducted a survey, and uncovered fragments of the bomber. The aircraft crashed back in the summer of 1941, and for many years the fate of its crew remained unknown. Now the identity of one of the fallen pilots has finally been established. Most likely, upon impact, the onboard bombs detonated, tearing the Illinois 4 apart. The explosion created a massive crater, which quickly filled with water. The plane remained lost for 80 years. Just minutes after the excavation began, a piece of the aircraft was pulled from the ground. Another find soon followed. Through combined efforts, parts of the bomber's engine were brought to the surface. On one of them, they found a crucial number, offering the possibility to trace the fate of the flight crew. The engine has several numbered parts. One of the serial numbers is located beneath the valve cover. At a close-up, you can clearly see the number 88, which indicates the engine series. By the evening, they had already identified the navigator, Fyodor Georgievich Kiselyov. They even managed to contact his relatives. Until now, the pilot had been listed as missing in action. Search operations will continue. Lag 3. Another World War II aircraft was discovered by a team of divers from Veliki Novgorod. After examining the wreckage underwater, the search team identified it as a Soviet Lag 3 fighter. The plane was badly damaged. According to the expedition leader, the pilot was most likely covering a river crossing. During an aerial battle, the aircraft was hit. The impact with the ice bent the propeller and the plane caught fire. Using the serial number in the parts, they were able to identify the pilot, Dmitry Pavlovich Malkov, born in 1922, a native of Ivanovo region, a sergeant, just 20 years old. With the help of a winch mounted on the ice, the divers managed to retrieve the propeller from the bottom of the river, several large fragments of the aircraft, and the pilot's parachute, which he never got the chance to use. But the most significant find was the pilot's remains, which were laid buried with full military honors. The collector. Several years ago, Ukrainian police detained a resident of the Belyavsky district who had stored a large cache of World War II weapons across 2 of his summer homes. In the first house, they found 3 mortars, 2 Mosin rifles, 3 Nagant revolvers, a PPS-43 submachine gun, 84 Leaf 7.69mm cartridges, 458 casings, and 458 bullets. In the second house, police discovered 5 shells, 25 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition, and traces of explosive material. The men had found some of the weapons and munitions at the former battlefields and restored them, while others were purchased as deactivated replicas. But he had modified them to fire live rounds. German tank. This is a rare find, even for such a legendary location. In the Prokhorovka district, near the hamlet of Rydninka, where the Battle of Kursk took place in 1943, search teams discovered a German tank. Unfortunately, the tank had been completely destroyed by the internal detonation of its ammunition. However, the tactical numbers and desert camouflage were still visible on its remains. A debate broke out among the searchers. Some believe the tank had arrived at Kursk from Africa, which would explain the sandy color. Others argued that this shade was factory applied, and that the tank roofs and tails were responsible for repainting it to match the terrain where battles took place. Currently, all the tank's parts are stored next to the Battle of Kursk Museum, and the question remains as to what to do with them, since reassembling a full tank from these fragments is impossible. It's worth mentioning that a few years ago, a turret from a similar tank was discovered in the same area, but nothing else was ever found. That's all for today, friends. You can support our channel by becoming a sponsor for just $1 or sending a super thanks in any amount.